Support for 100 Watts and a Wire is brought to you by 100wattsandawire.com. To subscribe to the show, simply click the RSS feed. While you're there, apply for your free 100 Watts ID and learn how you can help make 100 Watts and a Wire listener supported. Click the donate page and pick the option that works best for you. We've got a traveling toolkit, 100 Watts and a Wire gear, and more. That's 100wattsandawire.com. And LDG. LDG automatic tuners are built with industrial quality components for safety, durability, and long life. LDG microprocessors run state-of-the-art matching firmware to find a match in seconds. For more information, visit ldgelectronics.com. And BioNO Power, offering the best performance lithium iron phosphate batteries for your ham radios. Visit bionopower.com. That's BIOENNOPOWER.com. Or contact dealers nationwide.
And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
Oh, Lord, it's cold. It is cold. 12 degrees, baby. 12. We got a dozen degrees up in here. 1 and 2s on the 1s and 2s here in Missouri, baby. That's how my body feels right now. Like, damn. 12 degrees, and they're saying that with the wind chill, and, cold gets just cold. But the wind and all this, they're saying the wind chill minus 17 is the feel. Just cold, man. Cold. How you doing? It's Christian. Kilo Zero Sierra Tango Hotel. Meeting you at the intersection of life and amateur radio. My first Hamfest of the year was slated to be Winterfest in Collinsville, Illinois. Slept in. Yep. My father-in-law was in town. He had been in, and it was the day he was going to leave, and we did breakfast. I slept in saying that's like 7:30. I never sleep in. My body just won't do it. It turns out, though, if you drink like a gallon of wine, you might get a good night's sleep. Just joking, but it could be a glass of wine for me. Seems to help. Seems to help, man. I don't know. I have to look into the science. On top of that, though, I didn't have any cash. It wasn't like I was going to go out there, and what I do at the Hamfest may be different from what you do. I like to go and visit with people if I can. If people are going that I know, maybe I'll go there and stop if it's close by. This is about 30 minutes from me. Got a late start. I was like, nah, man. It was snowing. I was like, I don't know. I'm going to stay here. Just stay here today. It was a Saturday. Did some other stuff. But not having any cash, it wasn't like I was going to go buy a radio. It's fun to look at them. It's fun to talk to your friends at the Hamfest. I don't know if it's time to rethink the Hamfest. I've been thinking about wanting to do something for us, the 100 Watts and a Wire community, but then I think, nobody cares. They sleep in. They have breakfast with their family, and, they're not going to buy. It's kind of like, who cares? Hamfests have their own problems. People who are saving up, looking for deals. The internet has really changed the way we buy everything. Remember, not so long ago, the big test was a Christmas time. You can buy your stuff online. Is it going to be there in time for Christmas? And it was the big test, man. It was the big year. It was, I don't know. I've lived long enough to know that the internet and online shopping, when it took off, was a big test. And now we know, we're savvy enough because, things like commercial radio have stopped. Much of commercial radio, not all, have stopped giving us what we want in terms of our music. We know where to go and find it. Around 2007, 2009, the podcast took off. A lot of broadcasters, including myself at the time, were a little like, I don't know about the podcast. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a broadcaster, baby. But we learned how to look for things online and find things. Shows that we like, music that we like, programs and content, all this sort of stuff. And as a content creator myself, a producer, it wasn't as lucrative as, say, a broadcast career. But people were out there, they could find you if you were creating something. The same with amateur radio in terms of sales. So if you've been looking for an amplifier, old or new, you know where to go. You can go and find it online and get it shipped to you and have it within, a week's time. Sometimes even 2 days if it's like a new product. So the Hamfests sort of have this issue where they need to reinvent themselves, I guess, or they let the older generation sort of, die off and kind of run it out. I don't know. There's still an appeal to amateur radio Hamfests. The sales end of it, have to be a struggle. But what I like is the smalls. I like the small stuff. Your cable connectors, hanging out with a buddy or two. But it's missable. It's missable to me. Winterfest this year was missable. There was an option for me not to go, and I took it. I bought a ticket. That might help them. I was hoping maybe I'd win a raffle, but you need to be there to win. But, it was missable. So they got my $13, and I stayed at home with my family and had breakfast while it was snowing. It was just a better view. That's a confession. Things are missable. Television shows are missable. Podcasts are missable. It's, you're asking people to give of their time in their life to come and spend time with you, like this show. That's why you got to appreciate it. A lot of the other shows, it's like, you can't, you gotta be there, you gotta see it. It's, not really, no. I'm not talking about fests. I'm talking about shows and programs and things and concerts. People have other things to do with their time and their money. So this weekend, I missed the first Hamfest of the year. I don't know. I'm still debating Dayton. I always do this. If you've been listening to the show long enough, you know that it kind of, January starts to get to thinking. You start to think, I better get myself a room. And let me tell you, people have caught on to the bed and breakfast deal. Not the Airbnb they're called. I just don't know. In my gut, I feel like, I'm going to be there. But is it missable? You're going to take how many days out of your life and away from your family to go? These are questions that I think organizers of Hamfest need to answer. What is it? If you just think I'm going to put it on and you'll come here and we'll rest on what we've done in the past, I don't know. I think that's the wrong way to go. You better start thinking about not being missable, because if people like myself have the option not to go, we may take it, If there's something really, 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 really cool, then maybe I'll drive 5 hours and pay my money to stay there. It's expensive. I got to tell you. If you're going to stay in Dayton, it's all relative to what you got, right? When you've got a young family like myself, everything that you've got to pay for outside of your mortgage, food, and everything in your day-to-day, anything more than that can be an expense, right? That's why it's called an expense. Put yourself up in a hotel in Dayton or Xenia for 2 or 3 nights. Let me know what that costs you. Tickets to get in, what are you going to buy? It's, and I'm not down in the fest now. I'm not downing any of it. What we need to do, though, is start to think maybe, how do we make this an event that's not a missable thing that you really, really got to go do? And I did mine for the first few years because it was like I was told going to Mecca. That is the promised land, the Holy Land. It is the place to go. And then quietly, other people started saying, you know what? Orlando's pretty cool too, dude. Huntsville, the Huntsville Hamfest. That's a favorite among some of the people I know. They got to get to Huntsville, dude. Go to Huntsville. Yeah, Dayton's cool, but, and then Orlando, it's not really my problem to solve, but as someone who is looking out at the landscape, If one chooses to skip a Hamfest that happens once a year, 30 minutes from his house to be with his family, I picked a better option, and it's more of a confession. I'm sure it was wonderful. I've been there a couple, 2-3 times so far, just not this year. Take a break and come back. We'll talk about Winter Field Day, something else I didn't participate in. Well, that's not quite true. We'll talk about that next.
Made in America, shared worldwide. This is 100 watts and a wire.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need, from QRP to QRO, fixed station, portable and remote, matching your audio to your antenna using our lightning-fast proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. Our focus is on anticipating and meeting our customers' needs and providing them with world-class support as they install and use our products. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable when you sell it, with no paperwork required. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com. And PowerFilm Solar. PowerFilm manufactures durable, lightweight, rollable, and foldable solar panels that will take your ham radio setup to the next level, making it more portable than ever before. Visit PowerFilmSolar.com for more information.
You are listening to my daddy, K0STH on 100 watts and a wire.
That's right, baby girl. That's why we do what we do. That's why we skip a ham fest. That's why a lot of hams take time off. What was I doing Saturday during ham fest? Having pancakes with my girls and my father-in-law. Family first, we know this, and we can understand why people need to take time off sometimes. I took time off from Winter Field Day this time around. I did it last year. I went out to the old wooden shed on the edge of my property. It's actually the edge of the woods. It gets pretty thick just about 5 yards away from the old wooden shed. And this year, it was snowing. I had a lot going on. Skipped the Hamfest, skipped Winter Field Day, except chasing. I like the chase, and that's what I was able to do. And I also like watching the YouTube videos. I'll go in on a day like today or this week, do a search for Winter Field Day 2019 and see the different setups. Man, I really admire these guys and girls who get out there and do it. I mean, it is cold, and I feel bad if I hear somebody calling CQ for too long because I know they're outside, mostly. If you listen long enough, you'll hear them give their section and how they're running and all that sort of thing. They're sitting out there in the cold, man. I hate to hear anybody call for too long. And I hate to hear people get bumped off of their frequency because they don't have a ton of power. Maybe they're doing 100 watts out, from wherever, outdoors in a tent. Now, if you're running Winter Field Day in Florida, it's a little different. Great to participate. You can't control your environment. Perhaps you just have chosen well. But 60 and 70 degrees is a lot different than what most people are doing out there, freezing their shabon-bombs. Did you ever hear that one? Yeah. If you travel to the southern tip of Chile, that's what they call your... What do you call them? Cojones? I don't know. When you're freezing your stuff off, because we have to be inclusive now. We talked about this last week. Ladies got things too. They're just not dangling. I hope. Anyway, congratulations to all of those who worked Winter Field Day. I'll be checking out those videos on the YouTube. To see what sort of tent you were running, if you had a little heater going in there. Maybe you had a wood-burning stove. And I need to check in with Julian. He's in Norway. I mean, it's Winter Field Day all day, every day in Norway. It's unfortunate sometimes you hear stations who aren't interested in Winter Field Day. They'll get on, they'll run a lot of power, run you right off the frequency. Oh, there's a net coming up here in 15 minutes. Oh, man, don't get me started this week. We've had a net here for 40 years. Good for you. Slide that ass over 3 somewhere and leave me alone. I was here. Oh, can't stand it. Can't stand it. Now you know why people take breaks. People don't want to be inclusive. Move. Just move. I gotta move. I've been here for 40 minutes. I'm participating. Freezing my cajones off. Caponihonies, that's another thing. It's another, you gotta travel. You learn a lot of things when you travel. But seriously, man, Winterfield Day kicked off, and you start hearing stations at the top of the hour, and next thing you know, oh, we're about to have a net here. Good for you. Where were you? I heard him calling. I heard him say, is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? You hear him now, but you didn't hear him ask you then? And you're going to move somebody? Oh, I hate that. This is why people take breaks from amateur radio. You got such an established net on a frequency, but you can't move it down 3 and have all the others find you because you're so established. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, man. Whatever. And everybody wants to be a good neighbor, and they're just, oh, sure. And the weaker station always has to move. That's not how the rules go, guys. That's not how the rules go. He asked if the frequency was in use. Now you got to move him because you got a net coming up in 45 minutes. Oh, Lord, please light a candle for me on Sunday. It's the little things like that that become, more annoying. We have a special op report this week. Patrick is back. He's going to talk to us about satellites. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, this is Patrick Stoddard, WD9EWK. Last month I talked about an activity from the deck of the Queen Mary in California where I and another ham worked a variety of satellites. One of those satellites we used from the Queen Mary was the AO91 satellite. AO91 is also known as Fox 1B, the second of AMSAT's Fox 1 CubeSat satellites. Like the other Fox 1 satellites, AO91 is a 4-inch or 10-centimeter cube with antennas extending from 2 sides of the satellite. AO91, like the other Fox 1 satellites, listens on the 70-centimeter band and transmits on the 2-meter band, making for a signal that's easy to hear even with an HT and a standard ducky antenna as long as the squelch is opened wide. AO91 is in a lower orbit. Its orbit is slightly elliptical, varying between 300 and 500 miles above the Earth. When the satellite is up at around 500 miles, its footprint allows contacts to take place over a few thousand miles. In other words, hams in the northeastern U.S. or in Atlantic Canada can easily make contacts with stations in Western Europe across the Atlantic. Or hams in the western U.S. or as far east as parts of Texas can make contact with stations in Hawaii. AO91 is easy to hear. Many times at Hamfests or presentations, I'll ask the crowd to take their radios, set them to the downlink from AO91 at 145.960 megahertz, and open the squelch on the radio so that they can listen with their own radios. I have demonstrations of this on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/VA7EWK, where I use a variety of handheld radios with ducky antennas to listen to AO91 and other AMSAT Fox 1 satellites. AO91 passes by most locations around the middle of the day, 2 or 3 times at that time, and around the middle of the night, similar 2 or 3 times at that time frame. And passes during the day will almost always have people on them. You will almost never be alone if you listen to AO91 during the day. At night, there may not be activity, but during field day or even winter field day, the middle of the night passes can be equally busy. If you want to be successful in making contacts through AO91 or any of the FM amateur satellites, something more than the ducky on the HT is needed. There are designs all over the internet to build portable, handheld, directional antennas, Yagis or log periodics, or you can purchase antennas like the Arrow antennas, dual band Yagis, or the Elk antennas, dual band log periodic. All of those antennas are good options for getting started on working the satellites, along with a handheld radio or 2 handheld radios connected to the antenna. Full duplex operation is ideal when working any satellite, FM or single sideband, whatever. Full duplex operation is like a telephone call. You will be able to hear yourself while you're transmitting through the satellite. This way you don't have to rely on anyone else to tell you that your signals are making it through the satellite. Some radios will allow you to do this with a single radio, but you can use separate radios, one to transmit and one to receive. And in the case of AO91, the receive radio can be set on 145.960 megahertz with the squelch open, and you do not need to adjust the frequency on that radio. When transmitting, it is preferred that you make adjustments on the transmit side of your station to compensate for Doppler as the satellite moves across the sky. The uplink frequency for AO91 is around 435.250 megahertz, plus or minus 10 kilohertz to compensate for Doppler. But initially, don't worry about transmitting. Just listen to the satellite. Just listen to the activity. You'll get an idea that working these satellites is not unlike working stations in a contest or trying to work a de-expedition station on HF. Satellite operating is popular. You can make lots of contacts. Although you may not be able to work 100 countries for DXCC, there are other awards that cater to satellite operating as well as other VHF, UHF operating, like ARRL's VUCC award. You could even work all 50 states depending upon where you are in the continental United States or Canada and get the Worked All States award. There are other awards from other organizations, and AMSAT has a slew of awards as well. Where can you get more information about AO91 like the other satellites? AMSAT's website has a lot of useful information. If you go to AMSAT's website and click on Satellite Info, look for Station and Operating Hints in the drop-down menu. From there, you can get information about the Fox 1 satellites. If you'd like to build an antenna, there's a PDF file with a good design that many use for a dual-band Yagi that can be built from parts you may already have around the house or a small purchase to get the necessary parts. And other hints as you begin to work satellites. In future episodes, I'll talk about other amateur satellites that you can use with FM equipment, handheld radios, FM mobile radios, as well as other satellites that use single sideband, CW, and even packet. Again, for more information on what I've been discussing, please visit the AMSAT website at www.amsat.org and look under the satellite info menu item and go to Station and Operating Hints for more information on the AO91 satellite, as well as a design to build yourself a dual band antenna if you don't want to purchase one. For 100 watts and a wire, this is Patrick Stoddard, WD9EWK.
There's a lot of interest in the satellites these days, as well as many other facets. That's the thing about this special op program. There's so many different layers to this amateur radio, this hobby, and this service that I can't cover them all. So I want to meet people who are passionate about different layers. Patrick loves satellites. Next week, the special ops feature continues, and Rhea returns. N2RJ, a renowned contester, is going to teach us a little bit more about it. I know some of you say, no. No, contesting is no. Well, not for everybody. So if you like contesting, you have friends in amateur radio who love to contest, maybe you have a team, come and learn. Listen to 100 Watts and a Wire, and Rhea will teach you more again next week. All right, as we head into February, can you believe it? Still cold as a mama, but a little bit closer now to spring. I want to remind all of our sustaining members, if you subscribed, if you donated in the month of January in 2018, don't let your membership lapse. A lot of people do call and say, look, hey, how do you get the benefit here? It's easy. You donate $25 to the show, then you become an enabler to me. We can develop and distribute 100 watts in a wire. You also receive a discount from participating companies, Chameleon Antenna, BioNO Power, and the likes. Check them out at the website, 100wattsinawire.com, to learn more. Of course, we need new sustaining members, but we want to retain the ones who have already given. If you find benefit in the content and our community, consider becoming a sustaining member. $25, and you're covered for the year. January members, don't let it lapse now. Go ahead and check it out. All right, friends, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks to you for listening. Stay warm out there, man. It is a true January here with 2 degrees. We got ones and twos on the turntable, baby. Miss my calling, man. Wolfman Jack in that era. Oh, man, I would have been trying to do some of that sort of stuff. Before I go, I want to congratulate our upgrades. 2 this week, Gary, KC1, Juliet, Zulu, Romeo. He's a new general. And Tony, Kilo Echo 0, Golf X-Ray November is a new extra. Congratulations to Tony and Gary. Welcome to your new privileges. Enjoy it, get on the air, and have fun. If you are studying for your test, you study, you prepare, you will pass. And when you do, let us know. Visit 100wattsinawire.com. Click the upgrades page and let us know. We'd like to celebrate your new upgrade here on the show. All right, friends, stay warm. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And by all means, if you can, if it's absolutely an option for you, please try and stay above the noise.
To join the 100 Watts in a Wire community, visit 100wattsinawire.com.